Okay, so let's see how loud we can talk without waking the rest of the house up. So the Necron 10th Edition Codex is here, almost, and it's coming right up.
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. I am going to talk slightly quieter than usual because it's early on Sunday morning and everyone else is asleep. I'm just doing this video before I go to work today. It's been a manic weekend. I work in retail and it's Black Friday weekend. But not only that, the new Necron Codex went on pre-order. Now, as you can probably guess, I didn't get a free pre-order copy sent to me to this Necron-based channel, potentially the largest Necron-based channel. Now, I'm not sure why Games Workshop haven't sent me the book, but honestly, I don't really care because it means I get to experience the release just like you guys do. And my channel does represent a guy who loves the hobby and just shares his hobby. And that's what I try to portray in my video. So I'm going to have the excitement of pre-ordering it and waiting for the codex and obviously reading it for myself. Now, I must admit, maybe this is out of spite, I don't know, but I don't tend to watch the channels which do get the book early. I actually avoid watching them. I do like to find out the rules for myself. However, of course, it's difficult to not see what's been going on, and of course I have seen all of your comments, not all of your comments, I have seen some of your comments regarding obviously quite a few nerfs, but we'll talk more about that in a bit. So, as I said, I've been very, very busy working. I'm working today. Tonight we've got an evening meal with family, so this is the only chance that I've got to record a video, and then going to have to edit it later tonight to get it out to you on Monday. So I hope you do enjoy this video, and if you do, don't forget to subscribe because I am going to cover all of the new Necron stuff. It might be slightly later than some of the other channels, but you will see it on the channel and maybe from a different point of view, because I've been playing Necrons for over 20 years, since 3rd edition, and I've played Necrons in every edition since, so I do have quite a bit of experience. I may not be the most meta competitive player, not necessarily what I enjoy about the hobby, but I do have some experience, and hopefully that experience is going to help you get a grip of this new codex. What I have found with my audience of the channel is obviously it's quite varied, and I don't know where you are in the hobby. This could be your first codex, the first edition that you've played, or you could have been playing Necrons longer than myself since the original release of those Chaos androids. I don't know. So I'm trying to help as many people as I can, depending on where you are in the hobby. Right, let's talk about the pre-orders. Now, rightly or wrongly, I ordered mine direct from Games Workshop, and I ordered it from my local store. Now, I do appreciate that, of course, I didn't get any discount. However, there's a few reasons why I like to order from my local store. One, that's my alarm. Excuse me, I am up early. This is when I'd normally be getting up. I like to order from my local Games Workshop because it's near my work, so I work on a Saturday and I can just pop out, go to the shop and pre-order the stuff, which is what I did yesterday. B, because I work in retail and I appreciate how difficult retail is on the high street, and I like to support my local Games Workshop. And whilst I could pre-order it on the website and have it delivered to the store, that doesn't actually help the store itself. It only helps the store if you order it in the shop. Plus, my local GW team are awesome. They're a really nice bunch of guys, and I like to support them. So that's just me, as I said, rightly, wrongly, whatever, but that's how I do it. And there's actually one other reason why I do it as well, is because it pretty much guarantees that I will be able to pick the items up on the day of release, because I've tried ordering from other places in the past and the delivery's been delayed. Haven't been able to get it on the day of release. So those are my reasons. Anyway, what did I order? Well, I did order, of course, the Codex. I didn't go for the limited special edition. I mean, I would like to own one, but I just don't think it's worth the money. And from what I've seen in the past, they don't tend to hold their value as much as maybe some other limited edition items. So we got a normal Codex. I got some data cards, of course. I must admit, the data cards, I've got a love-hate relationship with them. I think they are useful, but also half of me thinks, would it just be easier to look through the Codex, the pages in the book? So I'll see how that goes, which one I use. So yeah, I've got both of those. I did get, of course, the new Imitek the Stormlord. I do have the old model, but I want to get the new one. I'm going to obviously build it and paint it on the channel, along with, of course, Oricon. I do have a kit bashed Oricon model, however I'm going to build and paint this one on the channel. And I got myself 2 of the Overlords with the Translocation Crypt, and I got some dice. I got 2 sets of the dice as well. The dice do look better than the previous Necron dice, which I absolutely hated. So we'll see how they go, and to be fair, I'm probably in desperate need of new dice because my dice rolling is really bad. Okay, so let's briefly talk nerfs, more on this later, but yeah, of course, I have seen many comments, mainly on Facebook, about all of the nerfs. Now, I haven't fully read or seen all of the rules yet, but I have seen a number of them. I've sort of skimmed the rules as such, so I'm aware of a lot of the stuff that's been going on, but of course there were a lot of unhappy people, so let's try and address this slightly. So let's just look at the bigger picture here. So of course, yes, we've got a brand new Codex. Fantastic. Now, since 10th edition was released, of course, we had our index cards, and they were always going to be a temporary thing, but because Games Workshop have been trying to keep a balance of the game, they've been updating the rules for the index cards, and of course our Codex was written quite a long time ago, probably way before the index cards were even written. And of course now we're almost out of date. And the Codex is pretty much out of date. So, things are going to look quite a bit different. However, we are in a really good place with Games Workshop in terms of balancing. Now, maybe not so much in terms of if you just want to pick the Codex up and you want to play that Codex for the whole edition for like 2, 3, 4 years, however long it's going to be, and not have to get new rules every couple of months, then probably not such a good idea. But in terms of keeping the game balanced, Games Workshop are the best they've ever been at it. I mean, my 3rd edition Codex, I had that for 10 years before it was updated. We did have a yearly chapter approved book. You had to buy the book, and in there were a few updated rules or FAQs. And that was it. You had a yearly FAQ and a few rule changes, but it was nowhere near what we're getting now. So whilst the Codex may not look that great at the moment, just bear in mind that Games Workshop are going to be updating the rules and changing the rules and changing the points and balancing things. So, okay, we're at, 48% at the moment. We have dropped down quite a bit in the last update. And this Codex comes out, we might go down, 20%, 25%. Games Workshop will address it. So we do just have to be a little bit patient. I know it's not an ideal situation, but I can tell you now that our situation now is a whole lot better than it has been in years gone by. So I think you have to take this into consideration. And of course, one of the key things as well is we don't know the points of the units, and the points come in like a massive factor. So let's talk about one of the nerfs, which is the Reanimator, with its aura ability going from 12 inches to 3 inches. That's a massive nerf. Let's hope, and obviously we don't know, but let's hope that the points come down to match that, to keep that unit viable. So the points is going to be huge. And even when the points come out, if the points are wrong, they will be adjusted. That's what Games Workshop are doing. So it's not all negative, although I can understand the disappointment. Okay, so let's talk about the lost data cards. So we thought we were losing 3 units, but we've actually lost 4 units, and we've gained 1, sort of. So we've lost, I've just got it written down here, just a reminder. We've lost Sandrek, we've lost Oberon, we've lost the regular Lord and Anrakur. So basically some named characters that haven't been replaced in Finecast. And how do I feel about this? Honestly, I'm probably not that bothered. The Lord, take that out. I'm talking about the named characters. The named characters, I'm not that bothered. I hardly ever played them. I did play Anrakur a few times. I don't think I played the other 2, ever. Oh no, I have. I played Nemesaur. Yeah. Yeah, I have played Nemesaur. But I'm not actually that bothered. It is a shame. Hopefully, I haven't seen this, but I assume they're going to go to Legends. So you can still play them, just not necessarily competitively, I assume. Or maybe they will reintroduce them at a later date when they have the models ready to go. Maybe the next Necron release, they'll come back. Because I think ultimately Games Workshop's goal is to remove all of the Finecast material models from the range. And whilst they replace some of them, obviously they've got a huge range of miniatures to replace. And there's other units which are desperately needed to be replaced in other armies, like a lot of the Eldar Aspect Warriors, for example. So I can sort of understand. It's like, let's just remove them for now, get rid of the Finecast, probably put them into Legends or reintroduce them at a later date. I understand the disappointment, especially if some of those characters are your favourite characters. Personally, Imitek the Stormlord is my favourite named character. So yeah, I am Imitek the Stormlord side of the war, the Civil War. Let me know what you are. Are you Imitek or are you the Silent King's side? And talking of the lore, I didn't buy the Crusade book because I'm not really into playing Crusade at all. Never played it. And I'm not really into the lore that much. So I didn't pre-order it. I spent a good amount of money on my pre-orders, so I wanted to keep it as low as I could. So yeah, then the Lord, of course. So the Lord has gone, and I'm disappointed for the Lord just because it's the model which I grew up with. You know, when I started playing, we only had the Lord. That was our HQ. I've got 3 Lords. I could proxy them for other things. I'm not that bothered about that, but it's just a shame to see such a classic character go. But of course, the Overlord has taken its position. And the Overlord sounds better, doesn't it, than just Lord? Well, it's a Necron Lord. It's a Necron Overlord. And then, of course, we've got a new data sheet, which is the Overlord with the translocation crypt, which is the new model. So, yeah, that gets its own data card. It's not a war gear option. So that was interesting to see. And I'm looking forward to playing those models. As I said, I've ordered 2. I'm probably going to convert one and have the other one as it is. But I'm looking forward to playing that model. Very cool. New Necrons. We always love new Necrons. Okay, so let's talk about nerfs, shall we? Now, as many of you will know from watching my channel, I don't generally chase the latest meta. Sometimes I do. Sometimes it's fun to play the strongest, hardest list that's winning tournaments, play the strongest units. I do enjoy that occasionally. But it's not my thing. My thing is fun themed lists and testing my skills on the table with that list, trying to make unusual lists work. That's what I enjoy. So I'll admit the nerfs haven't had much of an impact on me, or at least not as much as maybe it has for the Necron players that have been playing the best units effectively, like Lich Guard and Crypto Thralls and Warrior Blobs. I played Warriors. I can talk. I'm not going to edit this because I'm trying to make it as easy and quick as possible. I played Warrior Blobs my very first game when the index cards came out, and that Warrior Blob got destroyed by a Desolation Squad turn 1, and I never played Warriors since. Lich Guard, I have played Lich Guard a couple of times. They were great, but I don't want to play Lich Guard every game. So, yeah. Anyway, I've got a few notes here. This is just something that was posted on Facebook. So, yeah, let's have a look at some of the nerfs. Let's talk about them. So, the Resurrection Orb is reduced to once per battle at the end of any phase. Res D6 wounds. I'm assuming this is all correct that I've got here. So, yeah, that's just changed to once per battle. I'm wondering if the reason for this change is because we don't pay for war gear, so maybe for a free war gear option, GW thought it was too powerful. Maybe they thought reanimation was too powerful. So, yeah, it's a bummer, but you've still got the orb. You just have to be more tactical when you use it. You can't rely on using it every turn no more. You've got to say, right, when am I going to use my orb? Is this the best time? If I don't use it this turn, am I going to get another chance, the next time to use it? So you just have to be a bit more tactical with it. Cryptics cannot join Lich Guard. So obviously Lich Guard is pretty much in every list that I've seen it anyway, for good reasons. It's a good unit, it's a very survivable unit, and of course Cryptics can no longer join Lich Guard. Okay, so Lich Guard have definitely been nerfed. I'm personally not that bothered. I don't tend to use Lich Guard anyway, so it is what it is. Warriors. So if their number as Legion has changed to allow them to re-roll the dice to see how many wounds they reanimate. Lich Guard, -1 to wound is now -1 to wound if strength is greater than their toughness. So we've seen this before with the Catacomb Command Barge in the index card. Obviously definitely a nerf, because now it only works if you've got higher strength than your toughness. So again, a downer for Lich Guard. Am I bothered? Not really. Things change, units change. I've been playing this game for so many years. I appreciate that what works good now might not work in 6 months, and that's the beauty, I suppose, from my point of view, of having a big collection of models, is I can easily just put out a box and start playing whatever units I want. Understandably, if you've got a 2,000 point list that you've built to the rules in the index cards, and that's all you've got, then you may be really naffed off. So maybe this is where some of the hatred for these new rules is coming from, people that don't have a big collection of units. They have their favourite units. Maybe their favourite units is Lich Guard, and they have a 2,000 points list with a couple of Lich Guard in, a couple of Reanimators in, and now they're really naffed off. I can understand, I do get it. Doomsday Arc is now strength 18. That is not a nerf, that's pretty good. Strength 18, nice. Catans gain the Feel No Pain of 5+, but not the Tesseract Vault. So a 5+ save on the Catan, really nice. I have heard read elsewhere, that you can't take the enhancement anymore for the 4+, but that's okay, because I'd rather have a 5+ and order the Catans. so that we can play them, because you know the Feel No Pain really helps them. The Canoptic Reanimator ability reduced to 3 inches from 12 inches, which I've talked about already. I think the points is going to be needed to be drastically dropped to compensate, but if that happens, it might not be that bad. It just means you're going to have to dedicate the Reanimator to a unit. You know, now we're not just going to be able to put a Reanimator on a home objective and help everyone with their reanimation. Again, maybe GW just thought our reanimation was just a bit too much. We'll have to see. I know other armies can reanimate probably better than us now, but I assume that's the reason. But yeah, 3-inch bubble is very small, I'd admit. It's basically committing you to 1 unit only, unless you're really bunched together. I think 6 inches would have been a good compromise if it went from 12 to 6. I think that would have been fair. Again, I think 3 inches is a bummer. However, I don't use reanimators. Well, I haven't recently. I did at the start of 10th, but I haven't recently. So, not that bothered really. I'll just find other units to play. Right, last on this list is the Cryptothralls no longer have the 4+, Feel No Pain, and can only join Cryptics, so can't join Lich Guard. So again, another Lich Guard debuff. Lich Guard have been hit hard, it's fair to say, but GW probably just want to change the meta, or as I said, this book was written before the index cards and the changes that we've had. The Cryptothralls went up to 60 points because of what they were able to do, so hopefully now they come right back down, maybe 20 points or whatever they're going to be. But yeah, that's what I've got listed here. Now, I did have some reading, or did do some reading before I made this video, and I came up with a few other things that had changed. A few extra ones. I read that Wraiths have gained an extra wound, which is really nice. I'm hearing all over that Wraiths are going to replace Lich Guard. That makes me happy. Wraiths is one of my favourite units. I played Wraiths many times. My last battle report had 2 units of 6 Wraiths in, and they performed really badly, but hopefully now in this edition they're going to be a lot better. I also read that some of the units are going to get more movement, an extra inch movement. I think the Catans have lost an inch movement, but a lot of the mid-ranged units have gained an inch, apparently. That's what I read. And then, of course, detachments. So we've got 5 detachments, and from what I've seen, apart from maybe one, they all look pretty decent. They certainly look very flavoursome, and they look a lot of fun. There's a couple of standout ones, in particular the Canoptic, what's it called? Canoptic Court seems probably one of the most powerful ones. But I'm really looking forward to playing the Hypercrypt Legion. That looks like a lot of fun. And from my point of view, we've got a nice variation of those detachments. And that in itself could be quite powerful in a sort of more competitive scene, especially if everyone is taking the Canoptic Court and you take a different detachment. It means you might be able to catch your opponents off guard. So they might be expecting what the court can do, and you have a lot of different shenanigans for them to cope with that maybe they're not quite au fait with. But either way, I am very excited for this Necron release. As I said, I've been in this hobby, I've been playing Necrons for a very long time, so I accept the ups and the downs. I just work with what we've got, and I'm going to be making the best of what we got here on the channel. So if you do want to see these videos, then please subscribe. In the meantime, here's a playlist of all my 10th edition Necron videos, and I look forward to making a lot more.